Hello, and welcome to Thinkling's Books. My name is Deborah, and today we're going to be discussing what makes a good book beginning. Now, I should clarify here that when I'm talking about a book's beginning, I'm not just talking about the first sentence or the first paragraph, what's known as the hook of the book. I'm actually talking about the first several pages, the how the book begins, where we are, the entirety of that. And for the entirety of that beginning, there are two essential ingredients to making a good start to your book. The first is tonal consistency, and the second one is making the reader care. Let's start with tonal consistency. By tonal consistency, I mean that the beginning of the book matches the entire rest of the book. You don't have two distinct pieces, and in books that were very well written, you won't even notice. It won't stick out as somehow different to you. It will be all part of the same book. So for this one, I actually want to give a counterexample of a book that doesn't do that in order to show you what I mean. So a couple of years ago, I was in a bookstore browsing, looking for something to buy. I had intended to buy something, and I picked up a book that claimed that it was a modern sequel to Dracula. Now, I love Dracula. It's not a perfect book, but I think it is a very good one. It has a very distinct voice. It's very interesting. It has themes I enjoy. And so I'm pretty picky when it comes to that sort of thing. But I picked up the book, and I read the first page, and it was in Bram Stoker's style, flawlessly. I thought, this is someone who really gets it, who understands and loves the original, and is going to write a worthy sequel. So I bought the book, and I brought it home, and I read the whole thing, and that style lasted maybe 3 pages, and it never came back. And so not only did the book not deliver on the promise of style, no, it went a step further. Whereas the first couple of pages are like, oh yeah, I get it. The rest of the book showed again and again that either the author totally didn't understand the original book, or held it in utter contempt, or most likely both. It was a real bait and switch scenario. I felt like I had been tricked into buying the book. And this is really a lose-lose situation, because yeah, you got me to buy the book, and now I'm going to go leave you a negative Amazon review. And you're not going to reach all the people who actually would like your book, because you're not, in the very beginning, advertising it for what it is. No one wins when you make promises you don't follow through on. The second element of writing a very good beginning is making the reader care. And you can make the reader care in one of two primary ways. You can make them care about what's going on, or you can make them care about the characters, or you can do both, of course. So an example of the first, of making the reader care what's going on, is basically every mystery novel ever. You set up the mystery, and the reader keeps reading because they want to know how the mystery is solved. They want to solve this puzzle. A good example of this in fantasy literature is Susanna Clarke's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which doesn't start with either Jonathan Strange or Mr. Norrell. It starts with a group of pompous old fellows, maybe not that old, but pompous English fellows who are discussing how there's no longer magic in England, but there used to be magic in England, and if only someone could bring magic back to England. Setting up this scenario that, along with the really good writing, made me want to keep reading the book. So I did, and I've now read it 4 or 5 times. The second way of making readers care about your book and give them a reason to keep reading is to have a very compelling character or set of characters. And one great example of this is in Jonathan Stroud's supremely good book, The Screaming Staircase. The Screaming Staircase is written from the first person of the protagonist, and the protagonist just flows with personality. There's so much humor in her first-person narration. There's such keen insights. There's such personality that you like her. You want to keep reading the book for her sake, and you care because you care about her from the very beginning to the very end. And yeah, the setup is really interesting also. I mean, you have a couple of children about to go in a supremely dangerous haunted house to go and find the source of the haunting and destroy it before they die. That's interesting. But that's not the reason I kept reading. I kept reading for the protagonist. So, in summary, you need two things for a good beginning. You need to be totally consistent and not make any promises you're not going to carry through on. And you need to make the reader care through the scenario, through interesting characters, or through both. Thank you for joining me for this discussion on beginning. If you have any ideas on what makes a good beginning, please leave it in the comments section below, and I'll do my best to learn from you and respond to your comments. For more great content on writing and more videos in this series, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can hear of new uploads. Until next time.